Hey, what's up, everybody? Dan Tortora here, a.k.a. DT, bringing you super powered pop inside of the Parker, Banner, Kent, and Wayne Studios, PBKW for short. And Parker, Banner, Kent, and Wayne is your comic book and gaming headquarters, located on 21500 Catawba Ave, Suite A in Cornelius, North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte. Today's topic: Captain America Brave New World. On the day of the release of the teaser trailer, folks, only 1 minute and 48 seconds, but we saw a lot, so let's get into it. Looking at the first thing here was the conversation between Sam Wilson, aka Captain America, played by Anthony Mackie, and General Thunderbolt Ross, who becomes the president here, Thaddeus Ross, aka Thunderbolt Ross. And Sam Wilson says to Thaddeus Ross, "I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look. This is obviously a joke with all of us, the fans, because we know that William Hurt was playing Thaddeus Ross for over a decade, and sadly he passed away. God bless him in heaven, and may he rest well, and all of his loved ones be with him in heaven that have also passed on, and his loved ones here on earth be with him in spirit, and because dying you destroyed our death, and rising you restored our life. Thanks be to God for that, Jesus Christ rising from the dead." So I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look. Is a great play here with us, and this is Disney and Marvel Studios not hiding from the fact that this is a different actor, and I love that they put this here. It's right at the beginning of the teaser trailer, and Sam Wilson saying to Thaddeus Ross, "Hey, we know you're a different actor. We know it's not William Hurt, it's now Harrison Ford." And Harrison Ford, Thaddeus Ross said, "They said to lose the mustache or lose the election." Of course, this is another playback to William Hurt, who we know his Thaddeus Ross donned a mustache. Then we see the, right after he says lose the mustache or lose the election, we see his campaign here. This could be his acceptance speech, or it could be during his campaigning for Thaddeus Ross. And he is using the tagline "Together." It could be a longer statement here, but we just see on the screen "Together." And I think that Brave New World is really going to play on the state of the United States of America in real life here in 2024. And obviously we know in the Marvel Cinematic Universe we're a little bit ahead of time. But I think that this movie, Captain America Brave New World, is going to play on the actual goings-on of the United States of America that you and I are living through in real life. And obviously this country feels divided, and this movie is going to probably also play on the division of the United States, making it real as we watch it, and him running on the campaign slogan "Together," bringing the country back together. Now, before we see this wide shot here of either his acceptance speech as president or while he was campaigning, speaking of Thaddeus Ross, we see him from the back and we see plexiglass around him. And this is a question that people commonly have when somebody becomes the president-elect, when they're standing on a stage, when they're running for something. They look like they're just out in the open, and people are thinking, well, can't an assassination attempt happen really easily with them being out in the open? And when we see Thaddeus Ross from the back, we do see that there's some type of protection around him. And I believe that obviously in real life. Next thing that we have here, and speaking of protection around him, Isaiah Bradley, who we know is a super soldier. For those of you that didn't watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I suggest you going back and watching this Disney Plus TV show. It's Marvel Cinematic Universe canon, first and foremost, and it introduces these characters that if you don't know them, you're going to see them in this movie for the first time. And I think that, the backstories are important for Joaquin Torres, who becomes the new Falcon. And of course, for Isaiah Bradley, we find out that he is another person injected with the super soldier serum. And back in the day when he was injected, it was playing on the racism of, him kind of talking to Sam Wilson about who wanted to see a black Captain America. And so he is somebody who has this super soldier serum. He's lived with it, but he never got to be Captain America because of the color of his skin, which plays into the division of the country and plays into the fact of racism, which definitely had I don't want to call it undertones. The tones were pretty clear in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to me. Speaking about it with Sam Wilson and him not wanting to pick up the shield, thinking, who wants to see a black Captain America? And that also being the sentiments of Isaiah Bradley, who is a super soldier. The question is, though, why does he get up here? We see him in a room, in the center of the room, again, the protection. In the center of this room, Thaddeus Ross, he is in a very intimate setting with people all around him, and he is protected by a dome, which is what Isaiah Bradley is shooting at. I have two theories about this. Theory one, Isaiah Bradley either has a chip put in him by the government, or he has some type of Winter Soldier thing going on where they can say certain words to him and it will make him into a puppet. So either he's a puppet via a chip inside of him, or he's a puppet the same way as Winter Soldier by saying these certain words that end up making him into this puppet that can be utilized. And in this case, in this first theory, he's being used by Thaddeus Ross to look like an assassin, so Thaddeus Ross essentially can get him off the table. You could see that he's taken a few shots here. Eventually the glass breaks. Thaddeus Ross looks scared. I think that he is, in this first theory, playing that he's scared when he actually has triggered Isaiah Bradley to do this either via chip or via Winter Soldier going through a certain selection of words that turns Isaiah Bradley into the puppet of Thaddeus Ross. And why would he want Isaiah Bradley out of the field? Why would he want to show him in this moment, which would lock him up? Because Isaiah Bradley is a super soldier, and you want Sam Wilson to have as few allies as you can, and you want to get rid of the super soldiers. So if Steve Rogers is off the table, you take Isaiah Bradley off the table, who knows where the Hulk is at this point, and Sam Wilson doesn't have the super soldier serum. So that's one theory. My other theory is that Isaiah Bradley knows who Thaddeus Ross is. He either knows that there's something strange afoot, or he fully knows that the strange thing afoot is that Thaddeus Ross has taken the serum and has turned himself into the Red Hulk, because we know that the Red Hulk is another iteration of the super soldier serum, and we know obviously the Hulk coming to us with the super soldier serum and gamma radiation is how we get our Green Hulk, and it's, the Red Hulk as well. Why do they become what they become? The super soldier serum, gamma radiation. So my other theory is that Isaiah Bradley knows that Thaddeus Ross is up to something that's not right, or he fully knows not just the vagueness that something's not right, but he knows that Thaddeus Ross has become the Red Hulk. So here, he in this moment is actually trying to kill him. After we see him take this shot, and we see Thaddeus Ross scared in the glass break, Isaiah Bradley jumps out a window. And so the question is Isaiah Bradley in control of himself, or is he being controlled right now by the government? Either one of those theories puts us in a place of Thaddeus Ross wanting to get him out of the field so Sam Wilson doesn't have the help, like I said, or this is Isaiah Bradley taking matter into his own hands, because in this scene, it's Sam Wilson, to his left, Joaquin Torres, who's the new Falcon, to his left, Isaiah Bradley. They seem stunned that he gets up and does this, so either Isaiah is being controlled or Isaiah is trying to kill Thaddeus Ross right now, trying to do something to him because he knows he's the Red Hulk, or he knows something's not right. Then we hear the very creepy voice of Samuel Stearns, who says global power is shifting, and tells Sam Wilson, a.k.a. Captain America, played by Anthony Mackie, that he's just a pawn. Well, why is it important to look at the closed captioning here, which is why I'm very excited the closed captioning is here for us, because this is a creepy voice, and it actually brings me back to the creepy voice that we see in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So now I'm thinking Norman Osborn, a connection to Oscorp. No, this creepy voice, as we can see from the closed captioning, is none other than Samuel Stearns. Samuel Stearns is played by Tim Blake Nelson, and who does Samuel Stearns turn into? He turns into the Leader. Why is all of this important? Well, first and foremost, the backstory of this is that the MCU is made up of movies. Now, forget about the 20th Century Fox buying up those rights to the X-Men, the Mutants, the Brotherhood, the Fantastic Four, all the villains, and the bigger than this world villains like Galactus and whatnot, and Silver Surfer, and all the heralds of Galactus and Deadpool. Before all of that stuff happens, the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes their movies via Marvel Studios, which is owned by, and we see this ownership with Disney, right? So Disney being the overlord of Marvel Studios and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, Marvel Studios, starting back in 2008 with Iron Man, making all of these movies, what's one movie, the only movie, that was considered canon before Marvel bought Fox? Before all of that happened in real life, what movie was considered canon with the MCU that wasn't a Marvel Studios made movie? That was The Incredible Hulk. And who played the Incredible Hulk in that movie? And Bruce Banner? Ed Norton. Well, that was considered canon. Who was in that movie? Samuel Stearns. We last see him on the ground, and we see this thing moving through his head, expanding his brain and his head and whatnot, and he's becoming the leader, but we never see that happen because Universal Studios, that has the rights to make the movies that have Hulk in the title and Hulk as the main character, they never made another movie with Ed Norton. So here we are seeing Samuel Stearns, hearing his voice for the first time. And this guy kind of looks like Giancarlo Esposito here. And we know that Giancarlo Esposito likes to wear these fedora hats. So we're hearing Samuel Stearns' voice, and he says, global power shifting, and you're just a pawn. Is he saying that to Giancarlo Esposito's character, who is yet to be named? Or is he saying this to Sam Wilson? Because you would think he's saying it to Sam Wilson, but that fedora tells us maybe it is Giancarlo Esposito's character. But having Samuel Stearns here means that we're going to have the leader, another Hulk-esque character. This global power shifting, after we hear Samuel Stearns' voice say this in a very creepy way, we see Sam Wilson, a.k.a. Captain America, standing with the President of the United States, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, and on the other side, seemingly, the leader of China, which, again, plays into Brave New World, the movie, tying into people's concerns in the real United States of America that we live in, of people asking the question, is China really pulling the strings? Have we given up power to China? Is China this sleeping giant? And China being dominant red in their color and seeing red come throughout this trailer. But before we get to that, I want to get to this funeral. We see the United States of America flag over the casket here. And the United States flag, when it is over a casket, is honoring a soldier, right? Honoring a hero, a soldier in the eyes of the United States military. I think that this may be the funeral of Steve Rogers, who we know in Avengers Endgame made the decision after he returned all the stones where they were supposed to be. He decided to change his timeline and go and be with the love of his life, Agent Peggy Carter, and spending his time with her. When he comes back to Sam and he comes back to Bucky Barnes, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier, his two best friends, he is older. So I think what we're seeing here is Steve Rogers' funeral as he has passed away of old age. And why does this kind of play in everything? We see Thaddeus Ross tell Sam Wilson, you may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers. And I think that that rings home even more because I think the world is seeing here the funeral of Steve Rogers. So Steve Rogers passes away and Thaddeus Ross is saying, hey, you're not Steve Rogers. You may be Captain America, but you're not him. And then we have Sam Wilson say, you're right, I'm not. And after he says, I'm not Steve Rogers, we see red, white, and blue with the shield. He is Cap, but he's also still the Falcon. These wings are massive, and to me, this is what I would like to see Angel look like when we finally see him with the X-Men. And obviously they'll be feathered and eventually turn into Archangel, which will be more, looking like this, I would imagine, with the vibranium or metal or whatever version this is. Huge wings here. So when Thaddeus Ross wants to use it against Sam Wilson, which hits home too because Steve Rogers is his best friend, when he says, you may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers, he turns it back on Thaddeus Ross, takes that hit, that supposed hit that Thaddeus Ross is trying to give him, and he hits back by going, I'm going to take something you made negative and I'm going to turn it to a positive and remind you, I'm not Steve Rogers, because my version of Captain America also can fly because he has the wings. And then we see these women again. They show up twice in the trailer where they are visible. And the question is, who are these agents? And are they working for the good? Or are they working for Thaddeus Ross in this kind of shadow government? We shall see. And we do get to see Giancarlo Esposito's character for the first time like this. He shows up multiple times in the trailer. He still has not been given a name. If you go on to IMDb, there is nothing here. It just says Giancarlo Esposito. But in an interesting thing here, they take the picture of these actors and actresses. They take their picture from their IMDb biography page, and he's wearing a fedora, which is making me think once again that Samuel Stearns might be talking to him, saying global power shifting and you're just a pawn. And maybe when the leader talks to Samuel Stearns, he's telling him, hey, you're just a pawn in this whole thing. He's not talking to Sam Wilson. He's talking to Giancarlo Esposito's character. And when he tells him, you're just a pawn, he's actually using him as a pawn, knowing that if he tells him, hey, the world is changing and you have no place in this, and this is his way of getting in the head of Giancarlo Esposito to utilize him to know that Giancarlo Esposito is going to show that he is not a pawn and that he has power, which turns into him getting a little violent here in the trailer. So just pay attention to that. When Samuel Stearns, a.k.a. the leader, says global power is changing and you're just a pawn, you think he's on the phone with Sam Wilson, but he may be on the phone with Giancarlo Esposito's character, which would explain his place in all of this, because the leader could be essentially using his own pawn in the grand scheme of things. I think there's going to be a lot of chess moves being played in this Brave New World movie. And then we get to see later on in the trailer the old Falcon and the new Falcon. The old Falcon, Anthony Mackie here with the Captain America shield, and the new Falcon we see in, there's a foreshadowing of it in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, which was the first show that we saw by Disney Plus. And Danny Ramirez, the actor that plays Joaquin Torres, this is who I think we're seeing fly alongside Sam Wilson, obviously, here. So we're seeing the new Falcon on the right, the old Falcon on the left, who is now Captain America, Joaquin Torres, Sam Wilson flying together for this mission. Before we see them flying together, we see a fighter jet going toward Sam Wilson, and Sam Wilson flies right through it, seemingly using his wings to cut through the jet and take it off of the table for whatever is coming at him, whatever strike maybe Thaddeus Ross has ordered against Sam Wilson. And after we see them flying together, we see Sam Wilson go so fast that we see him break the sound barrier. And then we see Captain America Brave New World, and we hear this ticking, the we hear it a couple times, and we see Captain America Brave New World. The color goes out. It's black and white. And why would the color go out? So that we could see the color that they were foreshadowing this entire time, and that is the Red Hulk. And when you look at this first appearance of the Red Hulk, you can see right here, and obviously those of you that read the comics know that Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross becomes the Red Hulk, and he is obviously used in the Thunderbolts, which is a movie that I think is going to be directly connected, literally maybe right after in the MCU, right after Captain America Brave New World. I think the Thunderbolts is going to take place here because the Red Hulk is going to put his own team together with this global power changing. and the irony of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross running with the campaign together when he becomes the Red Hulk and with the Thunderbolts may divide the country even more, speaking of the United States of America. So here is the Red Hulk for the first time ever, and we're looking at him, and you can see in his profile that that very much looks like the face of Harrison Ford's Thaddeus Ross, and you can see the dark hair and the gray hair on the side. He grabs the shield, and another notable thing here is look at the tree, look at the flowers on the tree to the left of the Red Hulk. Those are the same trees that we see in the scene of the funeral, because I think this whole thing is, hey, guess what, Sam Wilson? You're not Steve Rogers. You're Captain America, but he was a super soldier. You're not a super soldier. You might have the shield, but you're not like Steve Rogers. And he's showing him here by grabbing the shield in midair and not only throwing it on the ground, but throwing it only the way the Hulk can, and taking this vibranium shield, throwing it on the ground, and seeing it immediately go almost halfway into the ground just by him simply throwing it down close range. We see those flowers again, because what I think happens here is we have this funeral and this somber moment for what I'm predicting is Steve Rogers. And after he passes away, the Red Hulk wastes no time to say, guess what, Sam Wilson? You can't handle the mantle of Captain America, and I'm going to show it to you. And so I think seeing these flowers when we see the Red Hulk and seeing them in the funeral is simply showing us here that after honoring the death of a national hero, an international hero in Steve Rogers, we are immediately saying, okay, Steve Rogers is off the table. Isaiah Bradley might be off the table. Sam Wilson, it's you and Joaquin Torres, and neither one of you are super soldiers. And guess what? There's a new Hulk in town. So that's what I think this is. Now, I want to go back here because there was something that was shown earlier on, and I talked about the red foreshadowing, but I wanted to go back to it here and do a little Tarantino. So go through the trailer and show you the Red Hulk, and then go back to this foreshadowing. We see red 4 times in this trailer. We see it first with the satellites, and this is Sam Wilson's voice talking to Thaddeus Ross, and he says, you've been compromised. Your inner circle has been compromised. Either you can't see that or you don't want to. And so he's telling Thaddeus Ross, hey, your inner circle is not who you think they are. Either you can't see it or you are directly choosing not to see that. So he's calling out Thaddeus Ross here. And this is the first time we see red with the red satellites. The second time we see it is when we see this red room. Different red room here, but we see a red room, a door opening, lights not on. This could be Sam Wilson and Joaquin Torres walking into this room for the first time. And so we're seeing this room, and we can vaguely make out that, there's some lights here, some things on the wall, and what looks to be maybe some type of a restraint. The next time we see the room, we have a wider shot, and the red continues. The red lights all throughout the room, and we can see that there is a light turned spotlighting a chair with restraints, and another red light that is over the restraints here on a table, showing us red spotlight restraints, all but telling you fully that this is the Red Hulk coming, and Thaddeus Ross has been in this room. The fourth time that we see it, and the last time we see red that is used so dominantly, is when Sam Wilson takes his Captain America shield and he throws it toward something that we don't see off camera, and the red is even deeper now, alluding to us that he is going to be fighting against the Red Hulk. So my question that I have here is, if we use all of this red foreshadowing in the first ever Captain America Brave New World trailer, the teaser trailer, 1:48, this is the first footage we've seen for Captain America 4, a.k.a. Captain America Brave New World. If you're going to take all of that time to put the color red throughout less than 2 minutes of footage, why not put the color red in and foreshadow the Red Hulk and not show him to us, at least in this first trailer? But once again, dating back to Avengers 2, which was Avengers Age of Ultron, Marvel Studios and Disney has been notorious over the years for showing us way too much of the movie in the trailers. And if you've seen Avengers Age of Ultron and you go back and you watch the trailers leading into that movie, go back and watch Avengers Age of Ultron trailers. Those trailers, once you see the movie, you feel like you've seen the entire movie, because there's pieces of the fight scene when everybody's running in slow motion toward Ultron's minions. And we see like the Hulk in the front of that when they're all going and the Vision's flying. We see the Vision in the trailers, which obviously you see him in the comics, but why show us the Vision when he's showing up for the first time in this movie? Why show us fight scenes? Why show us all that they showed us in Avengers Age of Ultron trailers? That movie, I specifically go back to when I think about Disney and Marvel Studios showing us the entire movie, or all of the big reveals essentially, before they show us the movie. I was not happy that they did that. And so when you fast forward here and we see the use of red here throughout the trailer, when we see once again the red satellites, then the red room, then a wide shot of the red room with the table and the chair and the restraints, and then we see red all around Sam Wilson as he's throwing his shield at something off screen. I thought to myself, okay, red and red and red and red. Then what they're doing here is a great poetic foreshadowing that is utilizing cinematography to let us know subtly, but not so subtly, that the Red Hulk is coming. Plus the fact that Captain America changing its title from Captain America New World Order, because that seems way too close to the shadow government and conspiracy stuff that people believe in the real world that we're living in. When you hear New World Order, that is a scary title to people. That was the original title of Captain America 4. They changed it to Captain America Brave New World. And when you see Captain America Brave New World right here behind me, what color is Brave New World? Red. So you have red in the title and 4 moments of red in the teaser trailer that just got released today, and that being on Friday, July 12th, 2024. Releasing that now with all the red, and the red in Brave New World in the title here, that should have been enough for Disney and Marvel Studios. But once again, just like Age of Ultron, they show us way too much. I don't think we needed to see the Red Hulk. Now, am I ecstatic that we did? Of course. And before we see him, we hear that ticking. Tick, 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 tick. Tick, 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 tick. We hear it. We hear it. We hear that ticking, and we see it like in the flashing of the Captain America Brave New World. It's flashing black and white, which is the absence of color. So the next time we see color is red. So think about this. They show us red throughout the trailer. Then they show us the title card again, Captain America Brave New World, but they take the color out. So they foreshadow red, then we have the absence of color, and the next time we see color is the Red Hulk. So all of this trailer is leading up to the big reveal of the Red Hulk, but I think they should have waited until a later trailer, or not even shown it in a trailer at all, and just had us foreshadow it, prognosticate about it, talk about it here on Superpowered Pop inside of the Parker Banner Kent Wayne Studios, and then see it in the theaters. But here it is, the Red Hulk. Am I happy that we're seeing the Red Hulk? Absolutely. And before we see him, we hear the token Hulk growling. But I want to get to 2 other things here, because there's 2 moments where I think somebody has been cut out. When we talk about seeing trailers and something has been erased, well, right here, as you can see, something is going through the White House. I think it's way too low for a plane, and a plane wouldn't come through this way, because it would essentially be like a plane landing into the White House. As you can see on the left side of your screen, that walkway into this big part of the White House is untouched. So what I think has been erased from this scene is I think that's the Red Hulk. because the Red Hulk is massive. Hulk is massive. The Red Hulk, I think we're going to see him bigger than the Incredible Hulk. And I think that he is going to be the size almost of the actual height of the White House. And I think in this scene, as you see everything blowing up here from the left side, not blowing up, but everything here, because it's not a blood. You don't see, there's no explosion here. There's no fire of any kind. So I think that we are going to see a larger version of the Hulk as the Red Hulk, which fits the comics. And I think he's going berserker mode here, and he is running through the White House, which is ironic because you have Bruce Banner and the Hulk, Thaddeus Ross and the Red Hulk. And the Red Hulk is destroying the home of his alter ego, Thaddeus Ross. So I think that the Red Hulk is actually running through the White House here, maybe chasing Sam Wilson, and he has been scratched from the trailer. Another thing that I think is interesting here is the scene that we see around the first appearance of Giancarlo Esposito's character. And that is of a car on fire, but the car is split in half. And who rips cars in half and uses them as weapons? The Hulk, or a Hulk-type character. Who's in the middle of this fire? And you can see it's very quick, but depending on how you stop it, you can see the arms pretty clearly. Arm, torso, another arm. I think that this is the Abomination, the leader, or potentially the Red Hulk. So I think that this is another appearance of a Hulk-type character, and I think in this scene, we are seeing this character has ripped this car, thrown it, and he will be revealed here. So I think this is actually the reveal of the leader because we've already seen the Abomination in the Incredible Hulk, and we've seen the Marvel Cinematic Universe change the Abomination's look as he has those gills on the side of his face, those like little wing-looking things. So we know that the Abomination's in the MCU. We know that the Incredible Hulk, the only non-Marvel Studios movie, is canon to Marvel Studios and has been canon since before they bought 20th Century Fox. And obviously knowing that the Hulk movies are Universal, but just making a statement here that nothing was Marvel Cinematic Universe canon before the purchase of 20th Century Fox except for the Incredible Hulk, not made by Marvel Studios. So everything else in the MCU that was canon was made by Marvel Studios, except for the Incredible Hulk. So that was a unique thing that was put in there. And obviously we see Thaddeus Ross in a bar having a meeting with Robert Downey Jr., and that was another thing to us going, okay, the Incredible Hulk is not a Marvel Studios movie. It's not owned by Disney. So why are we seeing this crossover? So utilizing that movie all those years ago as canon to the MCU when it wasn't a Marvel Studios made movie was interesting. And now knowing the leader, Samuel Stearns, is here, knowing that the same actor that played Abomination is back because we saw him in the She-Hulk Disney Plus TV series. So knowing that Tim Roth is back as the Abomination, this could either be the Abomination, or I think this is either a reveal of the Red Hulk or a reveal of the leader played by Samuel Stearns. Because, again, the car is ripped in half, and they are trying their best to not show us, but you can see arm, torso, arm. So there's some character, and if they're in the fire like this, I would imagine this is going to be a reveal of somebody we haven't seen before. We've seen the Abomination, we've seen the Hulk. So this is either Red Hulk to me, or it's Samuel Stearns' leader character. So once again, I think that's a reveal, and then I think the Red Hulk was wiped from this scene running through the White House. Let me know what you think in the comments here, as on the day of the first ever footage released of Captain America Brave New World, a.k.a. Captain America 4, I am here with you on Superpowered Pop, inside of the Parker Banner Kent and Wayne Studios, talking with you about everything I saw in this teaser trailer. A minute 48 of footage, yet a ton to break down. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Once again, find Superpowered Pop on Facebook, X, and Instagram at Superpowered Pop. That's at Superpowered Pop. And of course, Parker Banner, Kent, and Wayne, you can look them up on any of your search engines. You can also look them up on X and Instagram at PBKW will help you find them. And Parker Banner, Kent, and Wayne, if you start to type that out on Facebook, you'll find them as well. They are your one-stop comic book and gaming shop. Parker Banner, Kent, and Wayne, PBKW for short, on 21500 Catawba Ave, Suite A in Cornelius, North Carolina, just minutes outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. For now, from the Parker Banner, Kent, and Wayne studios, this is our breakdown of the teaser trailer of Captain America: Brave New World. The Red Hulk is finally here. I am ecstatic. I've been talking about this thing for Lord knows how many years, wanting to see the Red Hulk. So very excited that the Red Hulk is here. However, I think they should have waited and really utilized that foreshadowing more. They spent so much time in this less than 2-minute teaser trailer to have the color red. I think they should have milked it a little bit longer and put the Red Hulk down the line, or not even put him at all and have him be a reveal in the theaters. But let me know what you think. And remember, as always, folks, your hero lies within. We'll talk soon.